We got so many reasons why you should watch this show, but I'm going to speak directly to a certain block of fans right now, American Idol fans. I'm calling on you. If you consider yourself to be a lifelong American Idol fan, you have to watch the show. I'm sorry you do. I didn't know if you knew that you did, but yeah. Otherwise, you lose your American Idol status. This is Under the Bridge. It's currently available on Hulu, and you're probably wondering, you're like, wait a minute, I don't what? Why? I'll get there. Just hang on. You got to click that subscribe button first. Uh, and I'm about to tell you. Series stars Lily Gladstone. It's got Riley Keogh. It's got Archie Panjabi. It's got Matt Craven. He's been in a lot of stuff, and it's got a guy named Anoop Desai. Anoop Desai. Now, to be fair, Anoop's been acting for a while now, but this is a big role for him. He has he has much more to do here. Last time I saw him, he was the genie in What We Do in the Shadows, and now he's the father of the missing girl in this. Yeah, times have changed. I remember when he was a young guy on American Idol, and now he's the father character. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? Anyway, yeah. So this series has audio description. I think it's done by Tansy Alexander, although Hulu tried to start playing the anyway. So I didn't get to the audio description part of the thing. These streaming services that don't let you watch credits they're killing me. And it's I think it is it could be a very good, very solid chance. But I don't know who made the audio description because she works for multiple companies anyway. Anyway, we're going to need to talk about the audio description anyway, but what's the show about? It's about some, ragtag, underwhelming youth that live in poverty somewhere. I hear Victoria a lot and it makes me think of Canada. And I'm just going to be honest, it might be in Canada. And yeah, I just don't know where. And they have this little gang thing, the CMC, the Crip, what is it, Crip Mafia Cartel is their little gang that they form. It's these girls who are rough and tough, and they listen to Biggie, and so probably a period thing. She's unwrapping a CD for the first time, so no no MP3 players or anything like that here. So it's probably in the 90s. I picked that up pretty quickly from the presence of Biggie and a CD, without being given direct knowledge of when this takes place. So yeah, it's got misspent youth, and our main girl, Raina, that's her name. We are introduced to her, and she has a group of friends and that she hangs out with that are in government care. So basically they're in something like foster care, I don't know, orphanage. Honestly, these girls are so awful that they could be literally locked into a room, and I don't think anybody would notice. They just are let out at night to roam the streets and cause trouble. I have no idea, but there is a lady that's they're in government care. So yeah, not great kids acting badly, and that's the story here. And in the first episode, something happens to Raina, And that's the mystery that we go forth with. And we're left with her family, of which Archie Panjabi and Anoop Desai are both parts of. There's another character that is played by Riley Keogh, who is a writer who's trying to write a story about this little, I don't know, place that they grew up, that somebody grew up in. She says like a friend of hers grew up and got out of. It's this obviously where these kids live, and it's a poor area, and again, misspent youth. And we also have Academy Award nominee Lily Gladstone in the lead role here, playing the detective who is trying to uncover the cases. Now, what's lacking here is any sort of description of ethnicity and race. They whitewashed a show that is whose cast is primarily not white, and it's very bizarre because they actually do bring it up here. This is not me just doing that thing that I usually do where I bring it up and I'm like, hey, there's no mention of anything here. They actually, like the family, Raina's family, there's a thing where they speak, in not like the older people in the family, like the grandparent level, don't speak perfect English, and the dad Anoop, he speaks much better English, and they say things about how that they didn't expect people to listen to people like them, and like cops to believe them, and there's a lot of stuff that's hinted at here that we're being ignored because the girl that went missing looks like us, and not it's not just a show where you can dodge it. You have to talk about it. And the thing is that Lily Gladstone, who's Native American, obviously not white, is taken aback by the accusation that she would be in that boat, but we're also not given that sort of context to her character as well. So the whole thing is like they bring it up in the show, and it becomes sort of a part of the show. I don't know how much it's going to stay a part of the show as we move forward because I've only watched the first episode so far, but it is a part of the pilot, and it's this sort of thematic thing that they bring up and they start to talk about. So because I don't know that, and I don't know the race of the other girls and kids in the show, it's hard to understand the dynamic of this show. They do describe Lily Gladstone as being muscular, which was interesting because I've actually never seen Lily Gladstone. I've seen a lot of actresses and actors and actresses because of having had sight, but I've also been blind long enough that those that have come up more recently I've never seen, and I've never seen Lily Gladstone. So now it's like putting a whole new spin and context into Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm like, wait a minute, is she muscular? Just because there's this whole thing about her whole diabetes and her eating and everything that I wouldn't have. I'm like, did she work out for this? And so now I have all these questions in my head as to what Lily Gladstone looks like, because she's multiple times described as being muscular. I guess because we're dodging Native American or Indigenous or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. I would have preferred, especially, I prefer it anyway because I think representation matters, and I think people like to see themselves in shows. And it's something that's obvious to a sighted audience. It's all about relaying stuff and putting us on the same playing field, and the fact that we keep dodging it is just very odd. Like the assumption that blind people are all, I don't know, colorblind or something like that and don't need to know things like that. It's it's not for oh, I'm gonna turn off the show because it's got this in it. It's more for along the line of um, I want all the info that I can get. A, B, um, I've also spoken to people who don't look like me. I know I happen to be the white guy, and this is a weird conversation, but there are plenty of people who are not, and they like to know that they're represented in television, and it's frustrating for them when they are constantly left out, or when it's tokenism, when we use defaulting and we don't mention white characters, and then all of a sudden we're like, and a black girl comes down the stairs, and it's like, oh well, thanks for mentioning the race of one character. Cool. um, it's the assumption is that every other character is obviously then not black at that point for that show, conceptually, which I've heard before. I've heard narration like that, and that's unfortunate narration. So, this would have been the time to do it, because they do actually talk about how they feel, and there's a hint of it, and I don't know how much it becomes a thing, if this becomes sort of like, but I've seen shows like that before where it feels like a community is being targeted or underrepresented or whatever, and they have feelings about how the way that they're treated by others in the community or by police or whatever. This isn't the first show to do it, so just maybe not dodge it. Be more open about these characters. So the pilot is fine. Audio description just didn't quite hit me, which is sad because I think I love the narrator, and I just audio description was just okay. It didn't really wrap the thing around for me. I think it kind of gives you a pretty basic knowledge of everything. So, I mean, you're able to follow the series. I know who the characters are. I know who the main players are. I'm not going to say it's bad audio description. Like I said, I never knew Lily Gladstone was ripped. It's mentioned multiple times here. So, again, kudos. But there's just a lot of stuff here that feels like it could have been more. It could have been fleshed out a little bit better. I think there's a better version, I guess what I'm saying, that could have been written for this. It just wasn't. But this show is interesting. I want to find out what happened to Raina. I'm trying to avoid like a lot of spoilers because I want you to be invested in the show. But yeah, you don't actually find out anyway. It doesn't actually answer that question in the first episode. So as to whether or not she's alive or not alive, that doesn't get answered in the first episode. Otherwise, what would be the point of the next, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 episodes, however many series it goes for. So check it out. It's on Hulu, and it's probably going to get some Emmy consideration because Lily Gladstone's hot at the moment. I would be surprised if at least she didn't come along with the series. Riley Keough was nominated last year for Daisy Jones and the Six. Based on this pilot, I can't see her getting a nomination because her character just doesn't do anything. She might have more to do in later episodes, but I think probably, again, Lily Gladstone is going to be the person who walks away from the show looking the best. Although, I'd love to see Anoop Desai get a nomination in like supporting actor, just for giggles. I love it when random American Idol contestants end up popping up years later and doing really well, like Alan Richardson being on Reacher. Yeah, Alan Richardson was on American Idol. You can probably YouTube his audition right now in case you didn't realize that. So, yes, I am a fan of those things. So, the show, the pilot, is fine. It does not give you all the answers right away because it's a mystery that wants to unfold over the course of the season. So as a pilot, maybe it's not the most uh, engaging. It wants to engage you enough to hook you, but for some people, maybe it won't be enough, you know? Maybe because it's not so forthcoming with all of the information right off the bat, maybe that'll turn people off. It doesn't turn me off, just pointing it out. I just, some, I've seen tighter pilots that have a more clear and concise, this is what the show is, type of thing, and these are who the leads are. I would say probably if I had to point out one big failing of the pilot, if the biggest problem for me is just the inclusion of Riley Keough. I don't know why she's here, and the show doesn't really do a very good job of answering that. She feels like an extraneous character, and the show does not tie her well into the pilot, which is why I'm like, I don't understand how she could possibly get an Emmy nomination, because I don't know where this character could possibly go. So that'll be up to later episodes to decide, because the pilot didn't do a good enough job of bringing up why she should be here. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I think Riley Keough now owns Graceland. I think so. Anyway, fun fact, because she's Elvis's granddaughter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to give Under the Bridge, I'm going to give it B+. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm interested to see more of Lily Gladstone, and so I'm going to keep watching, and I hope you will too. And of course I'm going to watch because of Anoop Desai. I mean, those are two people that's my reason here. So will you keep watching? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I will see you guys on the other side.